All right, so here is the only Apex Legends Season 22 weapon tier list that you'll need. Now right here we got the tiers. So typically when you open up this tier list, there's I think another 2 tiers, but I think that's too much. I think 5 is more than enough. And if you don't know, S being the absolute best weapon that you can pick up in game, or weapons, going all the way down to D, which is basically you might as well just punch somebody. And obviously, you know, B being kind of mid tier. Now, before we even get into our own personal opinion, I know on this site they have community lists, so there's already people who have gone out of their way to make rankings for the weapons on, you know, based off their own opinion. And now I'm actually really curious what people think. I'm genuinely curious, because there are some weapons that shouldn't even be argued. They go into a certain slot, and that's that. So let's see what people got to say. All right, so this is community tier list number 1, and this is season 22 weapons tier list. And like I said, there's an extra 2 tiers down here. I don't think it's super necessary. I mean, I think 5 is enough, but you know, it's there. Right off the bat, I see the Mozambique in A tier, and that immediately makes me not want to take your opinion serious. Now I know this is just a single Mozambique, but obviously we're treating this as as the dual akimbo Mozambiques, and same thing for the P20. So like I said, Mozambique is one of that's like the probably the only gun, maybe one of the only couple guns that is S tier, and it shouldn't even be argued. But then the other thing that I notice is they got the heirloom weapons down here, care package guns, and I don't really know why. I can't imagine that they think that they're this low on the tier. I think they probably just put them down here because they are kind of hard to categorize. So I'm gonna ignore the fact that they have Kraber and Devo this low on the list. We're gonna ignore that. Now, first things first, going up in S tier, which is obviously the best guns that you can pick up, we got a Havoc. And I gotta say I agree with that choice. I think Havoc is one of the few guns that is absolutely S tier. And this is also before the update, which I believe they're taking out the turbocharger. I think that's the only nerf to the Havoc, is they're taking out the turbocharger. I still think it's S tier. I think even without the turbocharger, it's still one of the best guns in the game. And now, for the most part, this isn't a terrible tier list. It's not terrible. It's a little bit ridiculous. The fact that we got the Rampage Jackson up in the A column is I can't agree with that. I mean, even with the thermite, I don't care. The gun's basically got bloom. It has the slowest fire rate known to mankind, and that's just one of those guns that I can't get behind. And also the triple take. I mean, the triple take isn't bad, but I do not believe that it deserves to be this high. All right, and right here we have another tier list. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what video game you're playing, because it's definitely not season 22 of Apex. Because we have the you're telling me all right, you're telling me we got the Mozambique next to the charge rifle, and below that we have the P20. And now, like I said, this is I'm basing this off current, you know, akimbo setup, right? We have to do it like that, akimbo setup. So this is akimbo Mozam, this is akimbo P20, and we have these in the bottom 2 tiers. Now, my guy, you are telling me, you are actively telling me that the Rampage is better than the Mozambique, that if you had the opportunity to pick up a dual Mozam, and in these scenarios, I'm imagining, you know, the best in-slot attachments for all of these guns, you can pick them up. Now, you're telling me you would choose a Rampage over a dual akimbo hammer point, purple shotgun bolt, gold shotgun bolt Mozambique. And then in this same scenario, you're telling me that you're gonna pick up a charge rifle, a 4 to 8 times, 8 to 12 times digital threat charge rifle over a P20 akimbo, and even an RE. Now, I'm sorry, but this was made by somebody who hasn't played Apex in over 2 years. So I can't take this one serious. I just can't. All right, and I really just want to do one more, because this is I'm not gonna lie, this is fascinating to me. Now, this person did kind of the same thing as me, didn't really feel the need to use the bottom 2 tiers, because I feel like these 5 it's more than enough. Now, this person also ranked the heirloom weapons, which I think is a little hard, because I don't know, it's just hard to rank those, in my opinion. And this person just absolutely loves energy guns. I mean, they will damn near pick up an energy gun over everything. Now, again, like I said, I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care what your skill level is. The Mozambique, dual Mozambique, is the best gun in the game. guns in the game. So you already lost me. You instantaneously lost me. And then we got things like the charge rifle on the lowest tier, which I mean, you know, I can probably agree with, but evade, I don't know about that, man. I mean, the evade's not amazing, but it's definitely not the worst. And so, you know, this person, they're kind of all over the place. It's not the worst tier list. I see what they were going for. I see their preference, but nonetheless, you know, Ron. I don't care if this is opinion based. Ron. And now, like I said, the only tier list that matters, and I feel like half of these guns, it's kind of hard to rank them because a lot of guns are just very situational. But I think the best way to do this is to get S tier out of the way. You know, S tier's easy, and I feel like D tier is easy, right? S being the best gun that you can pick up, and D being the worst weapons that you can pick up, meaning you damn near might as well just punch somebody. So off the rip, I mean, I will die on this hill. Best gun there is, probably one of the best guns that we've ever had in terms of like just overall meta dominance. I mean, and just look at the ALGS, for example, the most recent ALGS that we had. And I know the pro scene isn't like the end all be all, but I mean, like 70% of the kills that they had in the ALGS was by this gun right here, which is just absolutely insane to me. Not because of just the sheer numbers, but because at this point, this gun was a literal meme. I mean, in like the first few years of Apex, like the gun was a meme. It was absolutely a meme, and it's turned into the most insane weapon that you could pick up. So whatever, that's a given. I have to put it up there, and there's maybe only a couple guns that I would put in S tier. And this one I had to actually think about. I had to actually think about this a little bit because I feel like it's definitely it's fallen off a little bit. But when you compare it to other guns, still probably one of the highest DPSs in the game. And DPS doesn't fully matter, but you pick this bad boy up, whether it's stock, whether it's full-blown attachments, you are shredding. Now after this, it's like I said, it gets kind of hard. It gets kind of tricky because I'm trying not to be biased. Now, if you watch my channel, you know I have been the ultimate flatline crutch for as long as I can remember. I mean, I used to use the gun when it was bad, so I loved it when it was good. And it's caught a lot of nerfs, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it deserves to be in S tier. Now realistically, I believe that it belongs in A tier. Now this is me trying to be unbiased, but I actually think there's only one other gun that belongs in S tier. And now these are tricky. These are very, very tricky to rank, and it's the heirloom guns, care package weapons. Now, I gotta put the Kraber up there. I really do. I'm not a fan of the Kraber, but that's just because I'm bad. And the only reason I put it up there is because of its one-shot capability. Got a game like Apex where the movement is ridiculous. The hitboxes feel like they get smaller and smaller every day. And the TTK is pretty insane, especially considering that every gun just gets nerfed every season. So to be able to have a gun that you can just one shot, I think is pretty insane. So this might be a little controversial, but I really think it belongs up there. You know, just based off the simple fact that you can one shot somebody. Now it might not be very common, but the reality is if you pick up this gun and you one shot somebody, that can basically win you a fight. Now, honestly, I think that's it. I think that's literally it for S tier. I do not believe that there are any other guns that are just absolutely dominating. And even the Kraber was a little bit tricky. So I think a lot of the very, very good guns that people think are in S tier are actually A tier. Now, I just want to get these out of the way. Let's just get the heirloom guns out of the way, because like I said, those are tricky. So Devo's good. Devo's very good. And if it wasn't good before, it's even better now with the LMG hop up. And now I said I wasn't going to be biased. But I'm going to be honest. I think the R99 sucks, and it's kind of hard to rank these because I want to rank them versus other care package weapons in the past, but this is just like a general tier list, like I said. So I'm gonna put the R99 in B. Now, a lot of people aren't gonna like that. And the bow, I think the bow is very good. But I think in this current meta, which is a very close range, you know, up close and personal meta, I don't think it's the best. And especially considering we got a map like E District, which is very close and personal. I don't think it's thriving right now. I'm gonna be honest, I gotta put it in B tier, which again, I don't think a lot of people are gonna like, but that's just how it goes. And like I said, I want to do the easy ones, so you know, that's easy. That's the most easiest decision I've ever made in my life. And I gotta say, the more I look at these guns, it is very hard to find another weapon in D tier. Which, like I said, I mean, this is like you find this gun on the ground and you have a choice between picking up this gun and punching somebody, and you decide to punch them. So charge rifle is one of those. Now I'm a big rampage hater, so I'd like to put the rampage in D tier, but I don't think it's a D tier weapon. You can obviously still kill somebody, and you get a thermite, you know, okay, whatever, C tier. All right, let's get that over with. And now I really can't think of another gun that would belong in D tier. I think based off the meta, which, like I said, it's a very up close and personal meta. Considering this gun has got its nerfs, it's lost its attachments, which may or may not make much of a difference, but I gotta do it. I gotta do it based off the sheer usage of the gun this season, which I don't think is very much. Now, honestly, I think that's it for D tier. I really don't think there's any other guns that are that terrible. And same thing for S. I think those are probably the best possible guns that you could put up there. While walking the line very finely. Now A tier is probably going to be one of the easier ones because there's a lot of very good weapons, but that just aren't top of the list. And so honestly, I gotta put the Nemesis in A. The Nemesis has grown on me a lot. I didn't use it when it was at its best, but I think even now it's very good, especially when it's charged up. So I think it belongs in A tier. And you know, if this was a few seasons ago, I think S and A would be completely filled with SMGs. But the reality is, SMGs have been nerfed time and time again. And not only have they been nerfed time and time again, controller's been nerfed, Amos has been nerfed, which is a big reason why SMGs were so good. So I think SMGs have taken a big hit, and I think one of the few SMGs that's going to be in A tier has got to be the Volt. It's got to be the Volt. The Volt is still very good because I think any energy weapons in general are still very good. And there's a lot more room for error simply because it's got a slower fire rate, but it's still got decent DPS. So, you know, with the aim assist nerf and hip fire nerf and blah, 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 it's still good. And now I feel like this gets trickier and trickier. So I think that's a given, right? P20 dual P20 is definitely not as good as the Mozambique. And now this is the one that I kind of struggled with. R301. Now, I think a lot of people would put their R301 in the S tier. I would imagine that a lot of you guys would put it in S tier, maybe even A tier. But I just don't think it's up there yet. I think it's very good, and it's gotten a lot better, especially since it's a recent buff. But I think the recoil is still a little wonky. So I would like to put it right, like right there, just like literally right there. But I'm putting it there, I just have to. I have to. And I'm doing this. I wasn't a big fan of the Massive. I'm not a big fan of most shotguns in Apex, but the Massive is good. The Massive hits very hard. And I think it's probably the most consistent shotgun. Other than the Mozambique, it's probably the most consistent shotgun comparing it to the Eva and the PK. Now, jumping down here to C. C tier being, not the absolute worst gun. Still pretty bad, but if you have to use it and you don't have a choice, you will use it. Which I gotta put the 30-30. If you guys have watched my channel for a while, I was a big 30-30 enjoyer, and I just think over time it's lost its spark. It's lost its spark for me, and I don't think it has a place in the meta right now. And now we're getting closer and closer, and you guys can't see on the screen because my camera's in the way, but we got Spitfire right here, and then right next to Spitfire is the triple take, and then we have the Wingman. And the Wingman is a tricky one. The Wingman has been nerfed a lot. and it doesn't get very a whole lot of use this season. And now the thing about the Wingman is that it can be the worst gun in the game if you miss all your shots, or it can be the best gun in the game if you hit all your shots, which I mean is kind of obvious, but you know, a double headshot with the Wingman is terrifying. But like I said, given the meta, given just where the game is at right now and how good everybody is getting at the game, I don't think this is a very great gun. And you know, I know there's a lot of Wingman enjoyers out there, and I'm sorry to do this to you, but it's got to go in C tier for me. I think it's taken too many hits to the dome, and it's not where it should be. And I say not where it should be. I don't like the Wingman. I've never liked the Wingman, and I'm fine with it not being in the meta, but I know it was a good gun. Unless you run into TTV Bald Wraith that, you know, hits you for 385 damage in 3 shots. And okay, so right here we have the triple take. Man, triple take is rough. Triple take is rough because the thing about the triple take is it hits for like 8 a lot of the time. You're hitting for a solid 8, and that's just not good. It's just not good. It's not good. So I'm gonna be honest. Any triple take enjoyers in the chat, you guys are gonna be a little sad about this one because I don't think it's very good. And I think we're seeing a very common theme right here, which long range guns are getting put very low because of the meta. It's just not a long range meta. I'm sorry. It's not. You might love this gun and it might be really good if things change next season. But as of right now, it just doesn't have its place. And right here we got the Spitfire. So Spitfire, I feel like Spitfire is a little easy. I think that just goes smack right in the middle because it's not a bad gun. It's not a great gun. The bullets go anywhere but where you want them to go. But this is kind of like the noob tube. I mean, anybody can pick up this Spitfire. I mean, you can get a good mag on it and you got what, 50 something bullets in there. So you miss 45 of them and you can hit 10, you can still kill somebody. So I think that belongs right in the middle, and I think that's a safe bet. I don't think it deserves any more, any less. And so right here we got the Centennial. So this one's a little tricky because, like I said, there's the ranged weapons are not very good right now. The Sentinel is it's in its own league because obviously you charge that bad boy up, you can use it close range, and this is probably one of the best guns for entry damage. It's like a mini Kraber, right? You're fighting a team with blue or white armor, whatever it is. You come in with this bad boy charged, you land a headshot or even a body shot, you're doing big damage. But this one's tricky. I want to put it right smack in the middle between A and B. But I think realistically, I still think long range weapons aren't great right now. So it's going in B. It's going in mid because it could be good, it could be bad. This gets trickier and trickier every time you get rid of a weapon because we're being left with guns that can be considered anything but S tier, in my opinion. It's really up to the user, I would say. So I'm gonna have to go with the Eva. You can hit for 200 health in 4 shots. 3-4 shots. If you're point blank, you're able to hit every single shot on a tap strafing, neo strafing, wall jumping, stimming octane. Isn't always something that you're gonna run into, but in my opinion, I think it happens more often than it used to. So I'm gonna be honest, I gotta put the Eva down here, and I like the Eva. I enjoy the Eva, but I personally think the gun is just way too situational. If you're in a scenario where you want to use a shotgun, at Mozambique, Mastiff, and honestly, not even capping right now, as the kids say. That's probably above the Eva. And I honestly just think the only reason I have the Eva below the PK is because of how high risk the Eva is, because you can't jiggle peek with the Eva really. If you want to kill somebody with the Eva, you gotta get in their face, out of cover, and that is very, very dangerous because in this meta, you can die very quickly. At the very least, with the PK, you could hide behind cover, you could do a little one of these, and it may or may not work. All right, and so let's see. This is the thing. This is getting hard. If I could just delete all of these, I probably would. Now I'm gonna go with my, I'm gonna just be, you know, I said I wouldn't be biased, but I'm gonna be a little biased. I hate the alternator. Cannot stand the alternator. It may or may not be okay early game, but that's not enough. I think the reality is that if you go up against somebody with an alternator against any other SMG, and you guys hit the same amount of shots, whatever, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna lose. So I gotta put this bad boy down here. I have to put it down here. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's been good for a while. And I would like to see it deleted. So I am sorry for any alternator enjoyers out there, because I know there's a lot of you. And this is this may or may not be out of left field, but I think the car is still very good. I think the car is still very, very good because of its one clip potential. And this is kind of what this list is all about, right? So if you can kill somebody as fast as possible, then that gun is good. And the car is taking some hits. The car is definitely taking some hits. From anything other than like close range, it's rough. But the car is one of those guns that I still am able to actually one clip people somewhat often with. And I think it's just one of those guns, man, that when the bullets hit, and they hit hard. So I still think it's a very good gun. I don't think if I could put the Volt above the car, I would, but I think they both belong in A tier. But I do think the Volt is better than the car, but I think the car is still good. Now we're getting real picky here. We're getting real picky. So, you know, if this was Rich's video, this would probably be an S tier, but you know, that guy's crazy. That guy's opinion does not matter. So the G7, I don't think is very good. So I honestly think it's very mid. I think it's mid. I think it's a mid gun. I think it can be good, but I think it can also be bad. And I feel like whenever I get that thought in my head, those guns just go in B. And you know, there's kind of the more I think about this, there's kind of a tier list within the tier list, right? So like in B tier, I'd like to put the R301 in A, but you know, now that I'm seeing the guns that I have next to it, I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm doing a little switcheroo. I'm switching it up on you guys. I think 301 is probably A tier. I think it's on the lower end of A tier. So I think that there is a tier list within this tier list. So I think as it goes across a row, I think the guns progressively get to the bottom of that said tier. So now I think the 301 is good. I do think it's good. I don't think it's amazing, but I definitely think the more I look at this, I think it belongs in the bottom end of A tier, if that makes sense. I think some of you guys will be happy with that, because I think it does belong in A tier, but like I said, I think it's in the bottom end of A tier. All right, so now we're getting to the last 4. We got the RE, we got the Prowler, we got the L-Star, we got the Hemlock. Now, if this was a few seasons ago, Hemlock would be S tier. But in reality, if you're gonna use a burst weapon, you're gonna use the Nemesis. And then if you're gonna use an AR, you're gonna use the Havoc, Flatline, Nemesis, and possibly the 301 over the Hemlock. So in reality, this is the lowest tier AR that there is, which is pretty crazy to think about, considering how good of a gun it was at one point. But the reality is SMGs have taken such a big nerf. Long range weapons just aren't in the meta, so ARs are kind of keen right now, other than the Mozambique. And this is just, it's kind of at the bottom end of all of that. But I don't think it's bad. I think ARs are still a better choice than most weapons in the game right now, but I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. And now we're down to the last 3, which is getting a little tricky. So as much as I'd like to clean this up, and I think the Flatline may or may not belong in S tier, I just, after the recent nerfs, it's hard. It's really hard to put the Flatline in anything but A tier. But I'm gonna be honest, the more that I think about it, the more I'm comparing it to other guns, you know, and this is not biased. I think the Flatline is still very good. Primarily because it can also be used basically as an SMG. Now the gun is not easy to use. It's got some recoil to it, but it's one of those guns that if you learn how to control it, you get good with it. It can be used as an AR, mid-range, close range. And even though it's taken some pretty big hipfire nerfs too, like all the ARs, I think it still probably has the best hipfire, other than maybe the Havoc, which I think the flatline might be a little better. I'm doing it. And now that may be biased. I don't know. I don't think it is, but it might be. But I think it belongs there. I think it's definitely better than most of these guns if you can get it right. Now down to the RE. RE's tricky. RE's tricky because it sucks. Let's be honest. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. If you're going up against somebody with red armor that knows how to strafe, you're not going to kill them. The reality is you're gonna go through like 6 magazines before you kill somebody. Now, if this bad boy was akimbo, now that would be cool. Please don't do that because it would probably be broken, but that would be cool. I don't have faith in the RE. I think the RE is better than the alternator, so I'm gonna do a little switch right there because I think the REs, I would pick it up over an alternator, which might be crazy to some people, but that's really just because of the DPS. But comparing it to other guns, comparing it to the rest of these, I just don't think it matches up. So I'm gonna be honest, it's in C tier. It's probably, you know, mid C tier. I'd put it around here. These guns suck. So these guns, I don't know where they belong, but they don't belong anywhere else but C tier. And now let's go with the L-Star. L-Star can be a little tricky because I know there's a lot of people that swear by the L-Star. You know, you feather the trigger and you got the LMG hop up and, you know, blah blah blah. But I'm not sold. I don't hate the gun, don't hate it, but I'm definitely not sold. And honestly, considering the energy nerf that we just had recently with the ammo, I think this is definitely one of those guns that's harder to run because it runs through energy ammo. And the reality is it's not good at like medium to longer range, which you can use the Nemesis at range. You can't use this bad boy at range. The recoil is insane. It's kind of like an LMG that also works as a SMG, but it has its moments. So I'm gonna be honest, putting that bad boy there. And the Prowler's going right there too. Prowler's going right there too. I don't love the Prowler, don't hate the Prowler. I think the Prowler has good DPS, but at the end of the day, DPS really doesn't matter a lot of the time because people move very quickly in this game. But honestly, I look at this tier list and I think it's on point. I think your boy's on point. I think there may be a few that can kind of be, you know, can kind of jump around slightly, but S tier, I think that's as good as it gets. Heirloom weapons are hard. Those are hard to rank, but based on the current meta, Mozambique is king. There's no question about it. Dual Mozambique is the best gun in the game, and if you're not picking it up, you're dumb and you're stupid. Havoc has got some nerfs, and even after we get the turbocharger nerf, I still think it's S tier. And honestly, I think the rest of these are pretty much where they belong. I'm looking at it. The more I look at it, I think I hit it on the mark. Charge rifle sucks. Actually, put that right there because it's really bad. I think it is obviously up for debate. This is all opinion based, but I tried to be as unbiased as I possibly could. But I don't think that's bad. And if you guys think any of these guns belong in different tiers, then you can do me a favor. You can type in the comments. You can tell me where they belong, and I will tell you why you are wrong. No, but I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was interesting to make. This was honestly a lot harder than I thought. I had to actually think about at least most of the more mid-tier weapons. But I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I enjoyed doing this. I will probably do a legend tier list soon. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comment section. Make sure to drop a sub, a like, comment, any of it, all of it goes a very, very long way. And yeah, no gameplay today. This was as good as it gets. So see you on the next video.